I was late getting it in. How about now? Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. I can see it, but I can't hear it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. I'm sorry. You're right. Okay. I don't. I'm not sure. Okay. Mhm. It's not. Testing one two. Test one two. Test one two. Test. Okay. Uh, barely, but I can. Okay. hmm Okay. Good afternoon, guys. Can you all hear me? We're out of town again, and we're having some issues, and I have a new earpiece in, so I just need somebody to let me know if they can hear me. Oh my God. Good evening, Miss Ferris. Miss Ferris. No, you need to call me. That's what you do, Miss Ferris. And what is wrong with you lately? Oh my God, Jesus, no. You try to bust me on a lie. You're wrong for that one. Okay, can you get okay? Pretty saucy says she can hear me. Okay, all right. I still can't. It ain't coming out. Okay, but as long as they can hear, we can go. Maybe it'll pop in. Okay. Okay. All right. I apologize. We're having some audio issues here and stuff. Um, Neil, good evening to you as well. Miss Moore, good evening to you. Beautiful Lewis, hey. Galatians 6 and 7, greetings unto you and yours. Thank you all for tuning in to our live broadcast. Yes, ma'am, Miss Ferris, I will be giving you a call. I promise you that. Uh, we're just going to give you a little brief update on the trial, and if you all would like to call in and give me your views on what you heard so far today, you're more than welcome to do that. I think the 800 number is stolen across the bottom of your screen there, and we'll listen to your views. But let me say this, and I agree with George Floyd's family's attorney, Benjamin Crump, when he says the whole system is on trial, not just this police officer. The whole system is on trial. Opening arguments started today. The opening arguments from the prosecutor, in my opinion, he nailed it from beginning to end. The brother didn't miss a beat. Um, he didn't sugarcoat anything. He told it not the way some wanted to hear it. He told the way it is. He told the way it should be. He told how we should handle things when dealing with an individual and you are a police officer. We know that the officer had multiple opportunities to remove his knee from Floyd's neck. Floyd begged him to. The onlookers begged him to. Fussed at him. He didn't do nothing. One thing I thought about today is that when you when we see George Floyd on the ground, somewhat sideways, he's handcuffed behind his back. The officer, not his hands, not his hands, one knee, is controlling George Floyd. One knee is controlling George Floyd. One knee. So, what does that say? Here's what it says. We know George Floyd wasn't a threat because he had been subdued. He had been placed in handcuffs, which means he had been placed in custody. Anytime you can stand up and take your knee and kneel down on someone and never use your hands, that individual is not a threat to you or nobody. When you can use your knee, not your knees, your knee, Neil says, and he did it with a smirk on his face. You just preached. She just preached. That's exactly how he did it, with a smirk on his face. How can this individual be a threat to anyone when he's on the ground, handcuffed, and an officer has one knee on his neck? His hands are free to do whatever. Oh, he's so damn comfortable. I'm watching one of a piece now. He's got one of his hands in his pockets. He's all right. He's breathing. He's talking. He's talking too much not to be able to breathe. The whole damn system is guilty. The whole damn system is guilty when we still, as black people, have to beg law enforcement to do the job that they were hired to do. If it's true, now somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If it's true, oh, Mrs. Scott, I promise I will. Deborah Bennett, I will tell her that very, very shortly. Love you big time. Thank you so much. Now, somebody tell me if I'm wrong. But in dealing with our justice system, we've been told, and I think they're right, but y'all tell me if I got it wrong. You hear police departments, along with the court system, say these words when it comes to surveillance, video surveillance. They're going to tell you the video don't lie. Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike will lie, but the video don't lie. If I'm right with them saying that, then that shouldn't only apply when it comes to ordinary citizens. That should also apply when it comes to people who have taken an oath to uphold the law, but instead they break the law and become the criminals that we have hired them to chase. So if the video don't lie, why are we even here? If the video don't lie, it doesn't lie. There's the truth. These low down dirty, diabolical, insignificant nothings has the audacity not only to blame his past behavior on his death, some drugs they found in his system caused his death. Okay, no, they ain't gonna buy them. That's it. The crowd was yelling too loud. The crowd was distracting the officers. That's why he died. That's how he died. That don't make no damn sense. The crowd yelling and watching is the reason George Floyd is dead. I believe that lie. Like I believe the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan has a dream of his white daughter saying, I do to a black man. Somebody ought to shout hallelujah. We're not stupid. We're not stupid. As I told you earlier, and I had to catch myself a few months ago, I got caught up in saying it that way, and I'm like, oh no, hell, I'm wrong. Uh, we're preparing for the George Floyd trial. And I had to correct myself. George Floyd's not on trial, he's dead. The officer that caused his death is on trial. But do you see how the defense have put George Floyd on trial? And they're trying to make this officer out to be John Pope the Sixth, when he's really Satan, number two. It is earthly sad. Pretty Saucy says, come on, Neil. She said, hallelujah. Pretty Saucy says it's sad. It's sad. It is extremely sad. Mary Elizabeth said, on top of that, he raised one leg to shift his weight to the knee. I know y'all heard the brother. The brother, he kept saying, oh, he enjoying this shit. You enjoying this. Well, why would the brother say something like that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because what someone just said, the smirk on his face. He was enjoying it. This is not going to be an easy case to win. It's not going to be an easy case to win, and the burden of proof is there. That doesn't make any sense, right? It's not going to be an easy case to win, but the burden of proof is there. Well, it's not going to be an easy case to win because the state, I mean, the defense is trying to get you to see George Floyd cause his own death. The people out there watching caused his own death. It wasn't the officer. If it's a lie, then the prosecutor lied in his opening remarks this morning. He said, once we have an individual subdued, we have them under control. There's a certain amount of time that once you get them under control, you have to stop whatever you had to do to get them subdued. You now stop when you have them under your control. So that means once he placed him in handcuffs, you can raise up off his knee now, bro. Today will be a good day to do it, but he didn't. But he did. I don't know how many times I heard the people say, "Get up off, get up off, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up, get up," but he wouldn't because he wanted George Floyd to die. We're dealing with the same system today that we was dealing with in March 29th of 1965. Not much has changed. Not much has changed. And it's sad when the family has to sit into the courtroom and listen to them do a character assassination on their loved one. He's dead at the hands and at the knee of a crooked cop. There is no defense for absolute wrong. You cannot defend the word homicide Homicide means somebody caused the death. It's simple. Homicide. Somebody caused this individual to die. Well, he had drugs in his system. He had drugs in his system this time last year, and he was alive. That didn't cause his death. The officer, J Rock, J Rock, J Rock. Love you big time. Hadn't seen you in a minute. Welcome back. We have to call it the way it is. Our criminal justice system has become a system of poison lakes. What they're trying to make you see as legal is not legal. And if it's not legal, then it's what? It's illegal. This is not a justifiable homicide. This is a homicide. And the officer must pay for it. We waited on this trial to begin. It kicked off this morning. Miss Keisha says no defense for wrong at all. Preach. Amen. It's none. It's none. We can't sit here and sugarcoat it. It's not about who you like or who you don't like or what party you're affiliated with. Is he white or is he black? Wrong is wrong and right is right. The world, not the United States, the world watched George Floyd take his last breath. But before we watched him take his last breath, the man begged. He begged. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Every time I say that, I think about it, I just got to chill. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. He even said, please, 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 I can't breathe. Can I have some water? My stomach hurt. My neck hurt. My whole body hurt. You see him slightly move over. And the prosecutor said he was doing that because his ribs, has been like crushed. And so he was trying to get some air so he could breathe because his breathing was being cut off. But the officer would go harder on his neck with his knee. I don't care. I heard the prosecutor say it today. I said it months ago. You all said it months ago. When we look at why the police were called, the police were called to the store because of an individual uh, was allegedly trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. After he leaves out of the store, allegedly that same individual goes and sits on a vehicle outside of the store after he just tried to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. He may as well have done this. Pulled his wallet out, took out his license, and laid it down on the counter and said, I'll be outside. I just tried to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. I'll be outside waiting on the police. I think that's super stupid. Why didn't he leave? Leave for what? He hadn't committed a crime. Come on. It's simple. The 911 dispatcher. She spoke today. She was the first witness. Okay, Val. Yes. It's I think a 26 or $27 million settlement. And I'm gonna get to that maybe tomorrow. We'll discuss that and my views on that settlement issue there. But anyway, the 911 lady was the first to take the stand. She received a call, but they also had a monitor to where they could see certain places where they was dispatching officers to go to in real time, and she was able to see that location, and she was watching, and then she had to get back to answering phone. phone calls. Yes, he was, Miss Keisha. He was dead when he went into album. Absolutely positive. You own the money. He was dead. Now, while she was watching this video, calls kept coming in. She went back to work. She got filled with calls, or they slowed down a bit to stop long enough for her to look again. Well, what was somewhat strange to her, she said, and I'm paraphrasing, the officers were still in the same position they were when she went back to answering phone calls. And then some other things began to bother her. So she called the supervisor of those police officers. Watch it. You have a police officer calling a police on the police. That's not normal. They don't do that. They don't do a we're calling the police is calling the police on the police. The supervisors seem nonchalant, all right, we'll take care of it, blase, blase, whatever. Here's what she said. It was very profound. She said, all of those officers, not two or three, all of those officers are sitting on that man. Why? Why? They're sitting on him. She said, I'm not trying to be a snitch, but they're sitting on him. This disturbed her enough to call their supervisor. So I don't know what they was trying to do this morning, what role they was trying to play her as or whatever. Basically, all I can see is that you should have been working and you shouldn't have been watching the monitor. If there's a monitor there for them to work, then evidently they can multitask. So that argument was extremely weak. Deborah says, I've worked in retail, and if someone has a counterfeit bill, we wouldn't take it, and that's it. We've done that too. I've been assistant managers in department stores, and like, no, we can't take it. Go on. It's a non-violent offense, okay? It's a non-violent offense. So, uh, how do we go from a non-violent crime to a violent crime? It's simple. Talk to the officer that had his knee on George Floyd's neck. That's what we have to stay focused on, not the drugs that was in his system. Because the report says homicide. If you OD on drugs, that's not homicide. You OD. That's not homicide. One thing we have to remember is what the prosecutor said, and I've said a while back. Let's say hypothetically it was a counterfeit $20 bill. Who's to say George Floyd knew that it was a counterfeit $20 bill? I said it this morning, and I'm gonna say it here. All of us on this live feed, including me, at some point in life, we have passed, unbeknownst to us, a counterfeit bill. You can sit here and raise your hand and say, oh, I know my money. No, I ain't never done it. You're telling a damn lie. We all have done it. But we didn't know what we had. That's so easy to pass. We all have done it. So we can't even prove now that George Floyd knew the $20 bill was counterfeit. If it was a counterfeit $20 bill, the system is crooked. I don't give a damn if he had a counterfeit $100 bill. No one can explain to me why he's dead that's going to give me some comfort or relief. Like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. That's why he's dead, right? Okay, all right. George Floyd death went global extremely fast. It went global. And it wasn't no longer just about George Floyd. It was about me. It was about you. It was about Emmett Till. It was about Michael Brown. Everybody's name was in this. And that's why they march. So that's why they protest around the world. But while we were protesting against the injustices that we continue to receive in this country by crooked police officers, crooked racist police officers were still doing the same thing they did to George Floyd. They were still killing us, still beating us, still harassing us, still racial profiling us just because they can do it. J Rock said, every time I think about George Floyd being dead over a counterfeit 20, it makes me angry every time. Michelle Andrews, good evening to you and welcome. I feel you on that. You're not the same. It irks me bad, and and we have to realize that if we're gonna tell the truth, the counter the counterfeit $20 bill is not why he's dead. The reason why he's dead, and you notice I don't say his name. The reason why he's dead is because of a white cop, a former white cop in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's why he's dead, not because of a counterfeit 20. That didn't have nothing to do with it. This thing was personal. This was personal. Anytime you can get someone subdued and then you can hold them down with one knee and you just put one hand in your pocket and you can smoke a cigarette if you want to with the other, that person is not of a threat to you. The saddest thing to this story, if it can get any sadder, is when I heard the brother call out for his mother. Hey, pretty face, thank you so much. Um, and I thought about my mother, and we're going to get ready to get out of here. My mother died September 23rd, 1992. Y'all may not believe this, but sometimes, even today, when one or two things happen, when things are going real bad for me in life, and if I'm over one hill and one hill, but then I look up and I see more hills and more hills and more hills that's already waiting on me, I still sometimes I say I'm gonna call my mom. When things are wonderful, fall in place, I'm gonna call mom. And it's a sad place to be. We call mama because that's that's our help. At that particular time, that was our shelter from the storm. I'm gonna call my mom. I'm gonna call my. And you look at people when people are being when they're being beaten, they're being kicked, they're being shot, they're being stabbed. If you notice whenever things like that are happening or they're involved in a fight, all of us have a tendency to make that same move, and we're gonna get out of here. Is we get into a fetal position. This ain't biblical. This is not a fact. It's just my opinion, and I'm not trying to pass my opinion off as a fact. It's just the way I see it. Again, this is just my opinion. When we're in that fetal position in our little small minds, we're trying to crawl back up into our mother's womb where we once felt loved and safe. That's why you won't hurt me no more. And George Floyd called out for his mama, his deceased mama. He want water. He couldn't get it. If I was a defense attorney, I don't care how much money you pay me. This would be one case I would do. I can't give you no defense. If any defense that if I give you a defense, if I give the jury a defense for your diabolical actions, then whatever I'm saying is a lie, and I should be disbarred because the only way to defend you and get you off, hopefully, is for me to tell a lie. I have to lie somewhere in here. And along with lying, I got to put George Floyd on trial. So George Floyd becomes a victim twice, once through death. Now we're putting him on trial in the courts because he did drugs. He was hiding. Okay, nobody tell me why he's dead. If I tell him why I think he's dead, no, that's not it. That's not it. Either way, it goes. You and I know one thing tonight. Whatever the verdict is, whenever the gavel goes down, it's going to be trouble. It's going to be trouble. Either way, it's going to be trouble. One side's going to be happy, one side's going to be upset. When you have police officers that are quitting certain police departments because they don't want the police officer that unjustifiable killed someone prosecuted. They want us to leave that person alone. And so when they quit one police department, they trot along to another police department that says, come on over here. We'll kill them niggas every day. And you ain't got to worry about it. So they go over there where it's tolerated at. And it's tolerated where they're leaving from. But what has happened, it's gotten to the public. The public done saw this now. So now we got to make it look good. But whenever you leave one department because you're in disagreement with an officer being prosecuted for breaking the law, and you shouldn't be allowed to go to another. No. When you go, you go. So we go over there, just across the bridge, and we practice the same thing. I don't know if he's going to take the stand, Deborah, in his own defense. If he's smart, let me just say it this way. If he's smart, Deborah, if he's smart, he'll keep his damn mouth shut. Because he done said too much. When he put his knee on George, I said, okay. When he put his knee on George Floyd's neck, he said everything we needed to hear. There's nothing he can take the stand to say. If he takes the stand, if he took the stand and it was my relative, and he said, I'm sorry, they would have to catch my black ass because I run up there and try to slap the shit out of him in that courtroom. I would do it. Your apology means nothing. This is not a do-over. You can't bring George Floyd back. And you're not sorry because he's dead. You're sorry because the world saw the damn video and now you on trial. And y'all doing character assassination. Have you no damn shame? It's sad. It's sad that we still have to do this in 2021. Yeah. Now I don't know if they're going to bring that up, J Rock. And that was proven about the job that they worked together there and stuff. They had bumped heads several times before. I think the officer was in many ways jealous of George Floyd, and so it's not like he didn't know who George Floyd was when he arrived on the scene. I want to hear what they're going to say about that. So it may not have been premeditated, but in this officer's mind, every time he saw George, I can't stand that nigga. I'm gonna get that nigga. If I have to set him up, I'm gonna get him. And that day, May 25th, when he pulled up and he saw it was George Floyd, I got your ass now. And he delighted in the torture that he was giving a defenseless George Floyd. How much threat could he be? Hand cuffed behind his back on the ground. I saw the phone come. I knew then it's over. Prosecutor today, even when the paramedics showed up to render aid, he wouldn't move his knee. Still, his knee stayed on his neck. Man, we're trying to resuscitate it. Go ahead, I got it. Now, how can you see any justification for taking George Floyd's life when the paramedics showed up? You done. You step to the back. Let them do what they do. The brother's handcuffed. You know he ain't going nowhere. But you don't like it. You can't stand it. You jealous of it. So you gonna make him suffer. You gonna make him remember this day. Well, he won't remember this day because he's dead. He won't. But you will remember this. Because it is my hope and prayer that they put your ass so far in the system they're gonna have to pump daylight to you. There's no defense for absolute wrong. There is no defense for absolute wrong. Until we make cops pay for the wrong they do, things will only get worse for Black America. Black people do not need to know how to interact with the police. The police need to know how to interact with Black people. This is not nothing you can teach at the academy. It doesn't go like that. It's on the inside. That's it. There's nothing you can do at the academy to teach people how. If this was an academy issue, why isn't it being done in white neighborhoods? Why? I'll tell you why. It's nothing to do. It's not about the academy. It's the individual that you're giving a badge and a gun to. I remember that Valerie, the young lady that the video that got it started, the one that filmed it. I think she was just going to the store with her niece or cousins or something, and she sat there and she filmed it. And she filmed it. We watched George Floyd die. I think about his daughter, and when she had her arms out, she said, "My daddy changed the world." And she still don't fully understand everything that's going on, but she knows she lost her daddy. She lost her daddy. And she also knows the world, as well as your daddy changed the world, she knows the world loves her daddy. I don't care what George Floyd criminal history is. Nothing constitutes death. A Powers, good evening to you all. Nothing. Nothing. But that's the first thing we do when a Black has been beaten or killed, wrongfully convicted. First thing mainstream media do, and the police, they go and look and pull up the person's past. And let me say this real quick before I go about this South Sucker here, Florida's governor, um, Representative, was it Paul Cannon? She wasn't arrested because she knocked on the governor's door. She was arrested because she knocked on the door of a white man. And that white man was in a private meeting with other white men trying to figure out what to do with niggas when it comes to voting. They was pissed off in November 2020. They got pissed off again in January 2021. So now we're going to put out less voting booths and boxes. You can't feed anyone. You can't give them water when they're out there in long lines. Let them pass out or let them die. Y'all got some white folks in office that needs to die in their damn sleep or get pulled up out of that. They have taken, because of Donald Duck, they have taken the hoods off. They're taking the robes off, laid them down, and they stepped out. And now if you thought they was racist, you know for sure they're racist. And what's so bad about it is that they're so bold. They're doing it in our faces now. Niggas. Yeah, Georgia went blue twice. I'll be damned if it go blue again. These people are in the wrong position. These people are running the country. These people are a threat to people of color. We damned if we do. We damned if we don't. She was arrested because she knocked on a white man's door that was in a private meeting with other white men. Well, let's just go ahead and call it what it was. It was a KKK meeting. Hello. Quit trying to sugarcoat the shit. Well, let's just say, no, let's just shut the hell up and let me tell it. He lied. She kicked the uh, state trooper. No, she didn't. Do you see how fast they acted on arresting that black woman for just a. Think about what would have happened if they had been that fast, if they had been that fast, if they had been that fast on January 6th, 2021, Capitol Hill. If they had been that swift in making arrests. When the boots got on the steps, they shouldn't have been allowed to go in the building, but they did. And not only were they allowed to go in the building, they were allowed to do whatever it is that they came to do. And not only were they allowed to do whatever it was they came to do, they were allowed to get up and walk out and leave. One officer, we got to go. Are y'all through? Because when y'all get through, I mean, just I mean, I need to go, but y'all got time. Go ahead, do what y'all gonna do. Take your pictures and stuff, and when y'all get through, we'll go and stuff and everything. Okay. I like your cap. Thank you. It's comical, right? But it's some real shit. It's some real shit. George Floyd was murdered on May 25th. Simple as that. 2020. There's no other way to say it. There's no other way to say it. And I may be saying this um, a lot at the end of a lot of my shows now. I wish you black brothers and sisters stop attacking one another. I wish you black brothers and sisters stop killing one another. The white man don't need your help with that. They do an excellent job by themselves. They don't need your help. They don't. They don't. They don't. They don't. They don't. They don't. Y'all need to get yourselves together because you've been positioned, but you've been positioned wrong. Thank you, A Powers. I will deliver that message. She should walk in shortly, and I think we're heading back to Shreveport tomorrow night. I think something like that. So, but I will tell her I gratefully appreciate you. We surprised her, me and her son. Um, she didn't know we was going to do it. We decided to go and buy the gifts, and we was going to go on her job and surprise her. I had never done that, so we did, and she was extremely surprised, and she loved the gifts that we got, and she thought it was over then, but it wasn't. So she had some more gifts when she came home, and then we went out for dinner, and we enjoyed ourselves. And I remember we were in the car. She just kept saying this was the best birthday I ever had in my life, and that made me get teary eyed because that was our goal, especially with everything that she had been through the past couple of weeks. And so, we are working on something together. I don't know if I'm at liberty to say it. I'm sure if you know that she told you what we're working on together, and so if she gives me the go ahead, the permission to tell you what it is. I'll tell you. But we are. we are working on something together and stuff. Okay, look, I love y'all. We thank you all for your continued support for this channel and the things that we do. We will update you every day on this trial. It may not be through a live video. Some videos may be uploaded, or we may just upload a post. I'm Al Scott with Injustice Investigations. Remember, I'm not always right, and you are not always wrong. We'll see y'all tomorrow night. Y'all have a good one.